Hello, it's good to have you with us at this hour. I'm Daniel Che. We begin with North Korea's ruling Workers' Party Congress, the first in more than 3 decades. The reclusive state's leader Kim Jong-un says it will not use nuclear weapons unless its sovereignty is threatened, while reaffirming that his regime is a nuclear state. Connie Kim has our top story.
Kim Jong-un said North Korea, as a responsible nuclear weapons state, will not use nuclear weapons unless its sovereignty is threatened. Kim made the comments at the 7th Congress of the ruling Workers' Party on Saturday, the first such gathering in 36 years. The young leader said the regime would fulfill its non-proliferation obligations and work to realize global denuclearization, mentioning the word denuclearization for the first time. Experts see his comments as reaffirming North Korea's desire to be recognized as a nuclear state. On the inter-Korean front, Kim called on South Korea to take practical steps to improve relations between the two Koreas and proposed military talks with Seoul.
I acknowledge the need for talks and negotiations between the North and South Korean military authorities for peace and reunification on the peninsula.
Regarding the economy, Kim announced a 5-year strategy for economic development from 2016 to 2020. He called the period since the last Workers' Party Congress an unprecedentedly grim struggle in North Korea's long history, and said energy shortages must be remedied and production in agriculture and light industry must increase to improve the livelihoods of the people. On Friday, the first day of the once-in-a-generation convention, Kim hailed the success of the regime's nuclear and long-range missile tests earlier this year and said the Congress would be used to showcase the success of the North socialist system. In its review of the Congress, South Korea said Kim has failed to provide a blueprint for the regime's future, as he did not offer new developments on ideologies from his predecessors. A Unification Ministry official also characterized the North's proposal for dialogue as insincere and called on Pyongyang to show its willingness to denuclearize if it wants improvements in inter-Korean relations. The event went into its 3rd day on Sunday and is expected to include discussions on the party's policies and elect Kim Jong-un to the party's top post. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
Back here in South Korea, the nation's 3 main political parties are looking for a fresh start with less emphasis on competition and a greater focus on working together. But according to our Kim Yong-gil, with some key posts up for grabs, they may have to put on their game faces against each other one more time.
The country's 3 main political parties are seeking cooperation while bracing for clashes over major parliamentary posts as they set the stage for the incoming lawmakers who start work at the end of the month. Ruling Saenuri Party floor leader Chung Jin-seok on Sunday stressed the importance of stronger cooperation with the opposition, once again acknowledging the party's new position in parliament after it lost its majority in last month's general election. He also denied that his party was overly submissive to the presidential office, in response to calls from his counterparts to keep his party from deferring to the presidential office. Main opposition Minju Party of Korea floor leader Woo Sang-ho urged Chung to keep the parliament independent from the presidential office, while minor opposition People's Party floor leader Park Ji-won called on Chung to improve communications between the two bodies. The outgoing parliament, which ends its term on May 29th, has often been deadlocked by confrontations among the floor leaders, factional feuds within the parties, and the intervention of the presidential office. Meanwhile, the newly elected floor leaders are busy trying to reach agreement on who will take the post of National Assembly Speaker. The largest party has customarily taken the seat, and right now that is the Minju Party with 123 seats. But the 122-seat Saenuri Party is seeking to regain its majority by allowing independent lawmakers-elect who left the party before the election to rejoin the party. It is likely that one of the 2 deputy speakers' posts will be given to the party that doesn't hold the post, while the other one is likely to go to the People's Party. The 3 parties are also seeking to wrap up the process of appointing the chairs of 18 parliamentary committees. Kim Yong-gil, Arirang News.
Amid steps to bolster its diplomatic profile, Korea plans to increase the number of public servants working at major global agencies by 15 to 100 starting next year. The Ministry of Personnel Management said on Sunday that public servants who work at the UN or related agencies, the International Monetary Fund, the OECD, or the International Atomic Energy Agency will be allowed to take a leave of absence of up to 3 years. They will also be allowed to extend the period by 2 years if necessary. There are currently 85 public servants working at 37 UN agencies. In the wake of President Park Geun-hye's trip to Iran last week, the details of deals made between the two nations are starting to emerge. In an interview with YTN news agency, the Maritime Minister Kim Jong-un outlined a number of new shipping and port agreements that have been reached, including the development of ports, fishery deals, and joint ventures in offshore plants. He stressed these deals would help facilitate trade between the two countries and help re-establish shipping routes that were cut off after international sanctions were placed on Iran. A total of 66 MOUs were signed during President Park's visit, including a series of construction projects worth $37 billion. May 8th, is Parents' Day here in Korea, and many people spend some quality time with their family in addition to showering their mothers and fathers with gifts. While celebrations took place around the countries, some stood out more than others. Hwang Ho-jun takes us to one of them.
Many countries celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day separately, but in Korea, both parents are commemorated on a single day, May 8th. Although it's not a national holiday, sons and daughters of all ages traditionally give red carnations to their parents as a token of appreciation for their lifelong dedication, along with other gifts. The day is also marked by outings and visits. This year, however, some decided to celebrate Parents' Day in an unconventional way.
I feel like I can fly to the sky. I was able to express myself to the fullest, dancing with all my strength. I couldn't be happier.
It's so refreshing and fun to be here. I'm getting old, but I'm having the time of my life, along with everyone else.
Who said clubbing is exclusive to the young? To celebrate Parents' Day, 600 elderly gathered to boogie to the funky music, proving that age, indeed, is just a number.
Jungnam-gu District in Seoul held this extraordinary event as a gift for senior citizens to journey back to yesteryears.
To celebrate Parents' Day, we wanted to host an event that our senior citizens can find memorable and actually enjoy.
Whether it's through a carnation, a gift, a meal together, or an opportunity to feel young again, the message is still the same. One single day is simply not enough, but it's still the right time to express one's gratitude and appreciation towards every loving parent out there. Hwang Ho-jun, Arirang News.
And as Parents' Day coincided with the last day of a rare 4-day weekend for Koreans, many felt compelled to do anything but stay home. Yoon-shin went out to see how some people celebrated the day in a more conventional manner.
I think I'm going to have a nice dinner with my parents later tonight.
I was thinking of arranging a vacation for my parents so they can have a nice getaway by themselves.
When it comes to showing appreciation on Parents' Day, these are some of the typical gifts we think of. But this year, because it's on a Sunday and the weather happens to be gorgeous, a lot of people spent the day outdoors for quality family time.
Seoul Forest was full of happy people picnicking with their parents. The park was offering a wide array of family-friendly activities, but the most popular was one that let people make wooden carnations they could later give as gifts. Instead of picking up carnations from a local flower shop, people seemed to really enjoy this unique way of spending the day.
I'm so glad we came down here as a family. I made one for my mother.
Some spent the day at one of the country's most popular historical spots, Gyeongbokgung Palace, which was offering free admission in honor of the occasion.
I'm here with my children and grandmother for a Parents' Day outing. It's nice that there was no entrance fee today.
Sunday was also the last day of a 4-day weekend that included Children's Day and a temporary holiday, giving people a little extra time to enjoy with their loved ones. Yoon-shin, Arirang News.
Taking full advantage of the rare consecutive off days, many Koreans made time to travel abroad. Equally packed was the nation's gateway, with scores of foreign tourists making the trip to Korea. Kwon Jang-ho reports.
The recent holiday has been a golden week, not just for Korean vacationers, but for the Korean tourism industry as well. According to figures released by the Justice Ministry, there were over 140,000 foreign visitors that came to Korea between Thursday and Saturday, and that number is expected to reach 180,000 by the end of Sunday. The Korea Tourism Organization believes the total number of tourists for May is on course to be 5% higher than last year. Around half of those visitors have come from China, with the biggest single group coming from a Chinese healthcare firm, the Joymain International Development Group. On Thursday, over 4,000 of its employees came for a company-sponsored visit and were treated to a samgyetang tasting party where they had a chance to sample the traditional Korean chicken and ginseng soup. Another 4,000 employees from the same company are scheduled to arrive on Monday, and the Korea Tourism Organization says it expects the visit by the two groups will contribute $42 million to the Korean economy. That will bring to an end 2 weeks that saw a huge influx of Chinese tourists. China celebrated the Labor Day holiday on May the 1st, and the KTO said during the 3-day period from April 30th to May 2nd, there were almost 63,000 visitors from China, up almost 10% from the year before. China isn't the only country sending a growing number of visitors to Korea. Figures released on Sunday showed that the number of Japanese tourists saw a year-on-year increase for 2 months running in February and March this year. That comes on the end of a 41-month streak of decline going back to September 2012. A Korean government think tank says the resurgent yen and the government's recent promotion of Korean tourism in Japan were the main factors behind the rise. Kwon Jang-woo, Arirang News.
The massive wildfire in Alberta, Canada shows no signs of slowing down more than a week since it got started. After turning more than 1,500 square kilometers of land into ashes, with high winds fueled by a tinder-dry forest resulting from a lack of rain, the flame could quickly go on to ravage an area twice that size. While all the residents of Fort McMurray have been evacuated, there is rising concern as the city is at the center of Canada's oil sands region. Officials say the area is resilient to fire damage, but they are not taking any chances. Half of the nation's crude output from the sands has been taken offline, with at least 10 oil sand operators cutting production. More than 1,100 firefighters have been dispatched, but no significant progress has been made in getting the inferno under control. Authorities plan to deploy drones to investigate the cause of the blaze. Now for a quick look at the weather before we go. Overcast skies are expected nationwide on Monday in Korea, with rain in the forecast down south, including on Jeju Island. Seoul will start the day at 15 degrees Celsius and Cheongju and Daejeon at 14. Later, the mercury will rise to 24 in the capital and to 25 in both Cheongju and Daejeon. That's Korea for you. Let's check out the weather conditions in your neck of the woods and around the world. That's all from us. Thank you for watching.